Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement. Thank you for joining me today in the basement, where I have some more good news for precious metals and precious metal mining investors. Things are going to change, and things are going to change much more quickly than we've experienced in the past. And what I mean by that is that when it comes to monetary policy and kind of the treatment that they've done for our sick economy over the last few years, things are happening on a, number one, much more quicker, whatever, more frequently, faster. Things are happening much more faster than they had in the past. And number two, things are happening on a much more extreme basis, right? Think about it. Just look how quickly the Fed, less than 2 years ago, went completely dovish, right? And even the government as well, from a fiscal policy perspective and all the stimulus they pumped out. I mean, things were obviously crazy, and that's been discussed ad nauseum, right? The national debt went up by how many trillion, blah, blah, blah. Things were like super, super dovish. And then now, less than 2 years later, we've got a complete reversal, right? The government isn't doing much more stimulus. Everything's super hawkish. The reason this is happening is because the underlying distortions in the economy overall are requiring, the patient is getting sicker and sicker. So the patient requires more frequent interventions and more extreme interventions. I mean, the U.S. economy with the national debt and all the crazy distorted factors involved right now is very sick. Like a person who's in the ICU and they, are trying different things and different things are creating other things, whatever. Okay, but the bottom line is things, right? Fed intervention, government, all that stuff is happening much more quickly and on a much more extreme basis, which means there's more uncertainty, there's huge inflation, there's a lot of weird ramifications going on, and it's kind of like a car. Think of it like a good old reliable Honda, but it's got 285,000 miles on it. When it starts going to crap, different things affect different things, and you try to fix one thing and it all just kind of falls apart. Or think about it like one of those great giant water buckets at a water park, right? The water fills slowly, everything's fine, it kind of teeters, blah, but eventually it all just dumps over. I have more analogies, but I'll spare them, okay? The idea, though, is that the underlying economy, the fiscal state, the financial state of the United States is screwed up. And with all the debt we have, right, $30 trillion in debt, and a government that continues to spend more than it brings in, so it's racking up more debt, and then needs to even issue more debt to help pay the interest on that debt, it just doesn't work. Math shows no forgiveness on the altar of truth. And eventually, despite all these magic trick distortion type things that they're kind of running through, it all has to balance out in the end. And that basically spells a vastly decreased US dollar and increases in real assets like gold and silver. Now, it can be painful as we lead up to that, but, if we hold steady and know the long-term value of real assets like gold and silver, we're going to be okay. The last thing I want to say is just I'm kind of mad because I'm mad. I'm a madman in the basement. You're listening to a madman in his basement, but I'm angry because most of my fellow Americans have absolutely no clue what's going on with the national debt, the deficit. They don't even know what the Federal Reserve is, right? They're more interested in watching the Bachelor TV show and talking about that than something major that can impact their life, like, you know, the national debt or these deficits and whatnot. Feels like most people, and I don't talk, you know, I don't go around trying to be a prophet or evangelizing the fact that the government's in debt and all that. But when you do try to talk to, like, otherwise very intelligent, educated people about the national debt and deficit, they just kind of, you know, I have twin 9-year-old daughters. These grown adults, they look at me like my 9-year-old daughter's like, oh, okay, you know. So anyway, thanks for watching. Again, the key here is, you know, the U.S. economy, the state of the fiscal and monetary policy, everything, you know, it just feels like the patient has gotten so sick that we need stronger and stronger treatments more and more frequently, which result, you know, in side effects and ramifications like inflation and high unemployment and, you know, whatever. And things are just occurring much more quickly. You know, from a mathematical perspective, that's good for gold. From an uncertainty perspective, that's good for gold. And I think that we're going to be okay. Now, look, I don't have a crystal ball. Don't make any investment decisions or any decision based upon what I just shared with you. But I'm a big picture thinker. And if I take a step back and kind of look at everything that's going on, that's what I see. Thanks for watching. I hope you are doing well. I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.